Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another edition of Chelmsford High School football. Tonight, the Lions travel to Haverhill, and last week, Chelmsford really showed what they were made of.
I thought it was one of the final high school football games, Dan, that I've seen in a long time. Lowell coming in a decided underdog with a very misleading record, having played some of the tougher teams in the conference, certainly gave Chelmsford everything it could handle.
Certainly they did. Lowell, on the other hand, first half they just dominated Chelmsford. Lowell got out to a 14-0 lead. As Chelmsford comes back and they win 21-20.
You don't often see a team get down in any sport 14 points early in the football game and be dominated the way that Chelmsford was, quite frankly. They were very flat. They showed that, but they also were able to dig their feet in and come back and play an outstanding second, third, fourth quarters of the game and control when they needed to do the job that they had to do. I think that was a game that's probably key too, Dan, and that showed them that they can get behind and still have what it takes to come back and play.
Really, it does, and even so, they really were very efficient with the time that they did have the ball. Lowell really had the upper hand in terms of time of possession, but Chelmsford really did a lot with their time of possession.
Chelmsford basically, once they got the ball, they tried to keep the ball going, and when they were on defense, they had a few troubles with wrapping up the tackles, but at the end of the game, with the key interception at the end, they nailed it away.
And once again, special teams, Dan, Mike, the kicking game particularly, Chelmsford was able to keep good field position throughout most of the game. Lowell did have some nice drives, but Chelmsford did control field position. Kicking game was, as it always is, very strong.
Haverhill, having a tough season.
They are, Dan, but by the looks of the crowd tonight with the enthusiasm, this is their homecoming night, and they just came in here with floats and fire trucks and police cruisers, and they have a nice group of people tonight. So the fan support is still there, even though the team has struggled a little bit.
The team is having a tough season, but 2 weeks ago, they really destroyed Lowell, which we had a hard time with Lowell. So if you comparatively, if you look at it like that, Haverhill maybe is going to be a difficult game for Chelmsford right now.
Definitely it's going to be tough for Chelmsford. Haverhill has one of the better athletes in the conference. That's their quarterback, Jeff Molesso. He's been starting all the way since he was a freshman, and now he's a junior, so he's still got another year left. And he does a nice job.
Haverhill's also coming in with a first-year new head coach. His first year. I know it takes some time to put in a new system. At about this point in the season, though, you might expect that that's when his coaching will start to kick in. Chelmsford's had a tough time playing down here in Haverhill Stadium. It's not very well lit. Chelmsford has dominated the series, winning 17 out of 20 games, but there have been some real strange ones. Chelmsford-Haverhill hook up.
There's been a couple injuries here in the past, right? What were they again?
Ronnie Rich was injured 2 years ago. He had a broken leg in the football game and ended his high school career. So hopefully we won't have anything like that tonight, though, and we'll get through this game nicely.
No, definitely not. You never want to see any injuries in a high school game. Unfortunately, we had that last week, the ankle injury to the Lowell player. But, it's something you never want to see.
This is a game that Haverhill has everything to gain in this game, nothing to lose. They're not going anywhere. They would love, I'm sure, to come up with a victory over a Chelmsford team that is very much atop the Merrimack Valley, maybe looking forward a little bit to next week in Lawrence Central Catholic. So this is a game you have to really guard against.
Chelmsford also has to deal with that. This is the Haverhill homecoming game, which we've noticed the people walking behind us that this is going to be a very large turnout. So Chelmsford's going to have to deal with the crowds.
Chelmsford Haverhill, Kevin Redmond in the Independent picked 35-0, I believe.
That's exactly right. I think he thinks Chelmsford's going to score quickly and often. I'm going to have to say I pretty much agree with him. I'll say 28-0. I think he's pretty close this week.
I think it will probably be a little bit of a closer game, more of like 21-7 or 21-14, but Chelmsford would definitely come out the victory. And my chef's teacher, Mr. Morgan's Chef's Pick of the Week, is also a big, large upset, such as I think it's 40-10 Chelmsford. So, and he's never been wrong.
Yeah, Morgan, I know all about his picks. I had him last year for Chef's Class. But anyhow, no, I'm thinking Chelmsford Chelmsford gives up 2 touchdowns late in the game. You know, when you have the second stringers in there. So I'm thinking more like probably I'll go with 35-14. Chelmsford wins.
And Dan's on a hot streak. You've been very close the last 2 weeks. So.
2 in a row.
That's right.
Oh yeah, I was good at that last year. We always had pretty close predictions. So.
Well, if that's the case, then I'll tip my hat again to you for the 3rd week in a row. We'll see.
Probably be better to get the 35-0 score though. That would be a little bit better on Chelsea's side.
You know, in my mind, the score really doesn't matter. Well, the final score only matters. You know,
right.
As long as you have more points than your opponent.
As long as you get the win.
Exactly.
And
Score
this is a
touchdowns.
game. This is a game that I know Chelmsford wants to get through without any injuries coming into next week. Play the football game, win the football game, keep everybody healthy, and move on to next Friday night.
Exactly. They really need everyone next Friday night when they play Central Catholic. Probably their biggest game of the season so far.
Absolutely, and hope we have a big Chelmsford crowd to turn out to watch that one too.
Excellent. And as the crowd is filling in, you see the Chelmsford sideline.
Chelmsford's won the toss. They will be receiving the football to start the game tonight, and we will be ready for that kickoff in just a couple of minutes. Chelmsford coming in at a very nice 5-0, ranked number 7 in the Boston Globe. Haverhill unranked in their top 100, but as we saw last week, rankings don't always tell the story.
No, they really don't. Lowell played Chelmsford very tough. Big game for Lowell to really prove that they're a good team, and you know they really did. Lowell is for real. They're a good team. They had a tough start, but those are the breaks, unfortunately.
They certainly played Bill Ricker tough and have certainly played Chelmsford extremely tough as well. So we're just a matter of moments away from the opening kickoff tonight. Another nice night. This is the 3rd Friday in a row, Dan, that we've had great weather. So let's hope that our string isn't broken.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Next week, Central Catholic, it's going to be important that you have good weather. Just really for the passing attack.
We're going to have the playing of our national anthem right now, and then we'll be ready for football. Color guards coming to midfield, and they're just about ready to present the colors, and we'll have the playing of that national anthem.
Oh, what a great rendition of the national anthem.
I'm sorry I didn't get that young lady's name, but I agree with you, Dan. She did an excellent job. A soloist and really sang very nicely. So we're just about ready for the opening kickoff. Chelmsford will be receiving.
Take a look at the statistics. Mark Brown on the season, 46 of 70, thrown 3 picks, 687 yards, 8 throwing touchdowns. Really nice job. Jeff Ravanis, one of his favorite targets. 9 catches, 119 yards.
Jeff has been that kind of hidden receiver and come through with some big plays.
Greg Meyer, the tight end, 5 receptions, 54 yards, averaging better than 10 yards a catch. Right there, Jesse Hardick, one of the backup tight ends. 1 catch, 10 yards, and that was a touchdown.
Very timely, I would say.
Definitely it was. Jeff Smart, his favorite receiver by far. 16 catches, 344 yards, 3 receiving touchdowns. Incredible for that kid.
Jeff's having a real solid season.
Mike Smith, 11 catches, 146 yards. He also has 2 strikeouts, 2 touchdowns.
All right, we're back ready to go. The kickoff is about to begin. Haverhill kicking off to Chelmsford. And this Merrimack Valley contest is underway. And the kick comes down to about the 15-yard line. And it looks like it's brought the ball back out to about the 27-yard line. And that looks like Mike Holt that was the ball carrier. Brought it back about 12 yards. And Haverhill was fired up on that play, Dan.
Well, they really were. They completely broke through the Chelmsford wedge and, put Holt right on the ground. Take a look at more statistics. Billy Walsh, 33 carries, 224 yards. He's been turning it on the past 2 weeks.
Right, he's gotten better as the season's gone along.
Billy Fury, 23 carries, 134 yards. He has 3 touchdowns.
Okay, we have Mark Brown, the quarterback, and he turns and he hands the ball to Walsh, running straight ahead, gain of about 4 or 5 yards, straight up the middle. Nice hole opened up again by the fine offensive line of Chelmsford. He took that ball up for a gain of 5, a good solid 5 yards on the opening play. So good positive start.
Definitely opening up the hole. Noticing Haverhill is really not that big of a football team. Chelmsford is really bigger than a lot of teams that they'll play during the season.
Absolutely. And I think that's what they're going to try to take advantage of here. 2nd and 5. Ball on the 33-yard line of Chelmsford. Brown back to pass. He looks to the sideline. He's got his receiver on the sideline. And the numbers are so difficult to see up here, Dan, that it's really tough to pick up that player. That's a gain, though. Took the ball across about midfield.
Jeff Ravanis, John Kidd, 26 carries, 84 yards, 2 touchdowns. Good short carry back, good blocking back for the Lions. Andy Sheridan, 4 carries, 49 yards. Great average rushing.
And coming on as the season goes along. 1st and 10, Chelmsford. Ball just short of midfield. Brown heads the ball straight ahead. Again, coming up in a cloud of dust. And boy, that is a cloud of dust down there. That's Bill Walsh again carrying the ball.
Right to midfield.
Yeah, gain of about 2-3 yards on the play. Brings up a 2nd down, and we'll call it 8 yards to go for a 1st down.
I have to try to stay focused in the game because they just drove the Haverhill Tower unit onto the field, fire truck.
And Dan's a prospective firefighter, so everybody, so he's getting excited here. Oh, we have a whistle before that play developed, and we have it's usually indication of some type of an offensive penalty.
I think I saw the right side of the offensive line go a little short.
And they did. So something that Chelmsford did not do earlier in the season. They did not stop themselves with penalties. Last couple of games, it's crept in a little bit. So we'll complete our stats.
Tim Wellman, 3 carries, 15 yards. He's a junior. He's done a good job. He's the backup fullback, and back to Mark Brown, really done a nice job this season.
We have now a 2nd down, and we'll call it about 15 yards to go for a 1st down. The ball is on the Chelmsford 44-yard line. Brown, the quarterback. And it looks like a reverse. And ball carried by Ravanis, and he's got room on the outside. He gets a nice gain down to the right side of the field. Little reverse, something that Chelmsford has not done much this year, Dan.
Definitely. I think it was supposed to be a Ravanis option. He stopped. He stuttered a little bit as if he was thinking about passing. Saw that he didn't have anyone open and took it himself around the end.
Right. That's a play we saw back at Tewksbury that was good in the Tewksbury game a couple of times that they've sort of put on the back burner a little bit and brought it back out tonight. Nice to let Lawrence Central prepare for some different things for next week. Give them something to think about. It's now 3rd down, about 5 yards to go. Ball given straight ahead, close to the 1st down, driving up inside, across the 50, inside the 45-yard line. And that looks like Walsh again, the ball carrier.
That's going to be very close, and they do signal first down.
No,
so.
that was Fury. Check that.
No.
So it's going to be 4th down and about 1. Chelmsford is inside the 40, and they're going for the first down here.
Really, they don't have a choice. Eric Mauser, the way he's kicking the ball, would put it right through the uprights.
And ball is given straight ahead, and it's close. Haverhill thinks they've stopped them. Haverhill is jumping up and down, and the way the Chelmsford's reacting, they did stop them. So Haverhill's going to get great field position here. Chelmsford going on 4th and 1, did not get the first down.
Yeah, that's really something that you have to make early in the ball game. In high school football, it's also important to establish momentum, and you really got to do that, try to do that in the first drive.
Maybe the first time all year that Chelmsford has been denied on a 4th down situation. So Haverhill will take over the football on their own 44-yard line. 1st and 10. Clock showing 7 minutes and 20 seconds to go in the first period. No score. Morello, the quarterback, and this ball carrier is just absolutely drilled on the play. Getting up for Chelmsford there. And
he's holding his ankle.
This young man is still down on the field. Now, that was John McIsaac who was there when the ball was there, and he just absolutely denied that play anything.
Check out the Chelmsford defensive stats. It's 4 individual tackles for Ouellette in the backfield. Not something you like to see, defensive back making a lot of tackles, but he's done a good job. Evan Dunn.
Evan's season has really been on the uptick in the last few weeks. He's really been a solid defensive player for Chelmsford.
That's Morangi. He assisted on 6 tackles, 1 tackle himself.
Right. John's also shown some real strength in the interior of the line.
Tusignan, a lot of speed in the middle. 12 tackle assists, 7 individual tackles.
And he's just always there. I think sometimes you tend to overlook him a little bit, but boy, he really is a force in the middle.
Definitely. Tim Leahy added a tackle assist as well in the secondary position. Tim Daly, the linebacker, 3 assists and 2 individual tackles himself.
The defensive linemen have done so well. Some of the linebackers haven't had to make as many tackles as you might think.
I know. John McIsaac, 8 assists, playing nose guard in there. Austin Pasecco really didn't see a lot of action last week.
This young Haverhill football player is still down. I didn't get his number. We are, believe it or not, probably, I'm just told by the director in the truck, Mr. Peterson, that the number is 43. And that's amazing, folks, because he's looking through stands and everything to pick up that number for us.
He's Nick Palumbo right there. 7 individual tackles himself in the backfield. Really nice tackler. 8 individual tackles for Chris O'Brien, number 97.
All right, we're back. Quarterback is number 1, Jeff Molesso. And that Adam Scott was the boy that was down, and he seems to be fine. He jogged up the field. Molesso keeps the ball himself and breaks straight ahead, and he's wide open, folks. He's down the sideline. He's inside the 15, and he's going to score on a simple quarterback draw. He just found the end zone all by himself, down into the end zone. Haverhill's second offensive play of the night, and they put 6 points up on the scoreboard.
Wow, Molesso is a great athlete. You see how fast he is, how he just broke free right there. Really
He
nice
made that play look real easy. He just sidestepped the one tackler and outran everybody else down the sideline for 6 points.
Definitely. That's the stuff you got to guard against. Being Chelmsford, Molesso, he's their main athlete. He's their best athlete.
That was certainly got the crowd involved in the game. The Haverhill's attempt for the extra point looks like it's right down the middle, and it is. And the team's coming back up the field. We're going to see a replay of that.
He just threw the line basically untouched. Evan Dunn tries to get a hand on him, but he's already by him. Nice move right there.
And really had some nice speed. Great fake on one of the Chelmsford defenders, number 45.
Daly and Viglione.
Yeah, Tim Daly, and just outran everybody else. So for the second week in a row, early in the first period with the clock showing 7 minutes to play, Haverhill's second play is a touchdown. So Chelmsford's behind again for the second week in a row.
Well, Chelmsford has beaten Haverhill 17 out of the 20 times that they've played. but Haverhill always gives Chelmsford a tough game, especially when they are at Haverhill Stadium.
Right, and it just, once again, it's a little bit of a feeling, Dan, that the Chelmsford football team is just back on their heels maybe one step. Failed to convert a fourth down and 1. Didn't get good field position on the kick. Got a penalty in their first series. So I wouldn't say that's the start that they wanted.
Definitely not.
And the Haverhill kickoff this time comes down to Holt again. He takes the ball at about his 20, and this time he breaks up the middle, and he's got room. He's got blockers, and he is wide open down the sideline. Does he have the speed? And it looks like he does. He's in the end zone with a kickoff return. 85 yards.
Wow, that's Jeff Smart on the return. Smart in there instead of Holt.
Right.
And he really just broke free, found the seam. Incredible.
Boy, he just had the jet zone. He got a great hole coming up through the middle, wide open. I would say probably untouched, Dan, on that particular return.
Really, he was, yeah. Just absolutely incredible. Not that, he does an incredible job anyway at breaking tackles. But Chelmsford puts himself right back into this ballgame.
That's an answer. So the wake-up call, I think, was given, and Eric Moundsey's on to try now to tie the football game. He will kick out of the hold of Jeff Smart, and the snap of Bill Walsh. The ball's down. Kick is up, and it looks good also, and it is.
Moundsey's only missed
coming
2.
back up the field. And we're great. We've got a replay of this one. Take a look, everybody, at Jeff. Does he get touched?
Look at these blocks right there.
Right, great blocks. And once he breaks to the outside, he has not been touched yet. So that's a touchdown with nobody coming even close to him.
Good downfield block by John Kidd, too,
Yes,
right there.
John McIsaac there. He just had a convoy of people assisting him into the end zone. So we've had 2 scores in about 25 seconds. Clock showing 6:30, 7-7. Okay, Chelmsford is back, and they're about to kick off following an electrifying Jeff Smart 85-yard touchdown return following a Haverhill touchdown. Kicking off for Chelmsford is Eric Moundsey. He's kicking off to Malesso, who is deep in the middle, and he is going to have the football, I believe.
Yep,
Coming
Malesso
back
at
up the
3.
field from the 5, and Chelmsford is covering this one very nicely. He brings the ball back up to about the 24-yard line of Haverhill. So Haverhill will start their second series, 1st and 10 from the 24-yard line.
Yep, nice job. Nice job by the Chelmsford defense covering Malesso, making sure he doesn't break free like he did. His speed is incredible. Probably very few kids in the Chelmsford Lions that could keep up with that, man.
Haverhill's had trouble putting points on the board this year, so it certainly has got to boost their spirits to have 7 points early in the football game. 5:21 left in the first period, 7-7. Malesso again, the quarterback, and he tries an inside reverse, and it's covered very nicely by the Chelmsford interior defensive line.
Number 28 on the carry.
Number 28 in our program, Dan, is Adam Carlson.
Carlson, quite a big boy. He's a fullback, I believe.
Gained about 1 yard on the play, so it brings up 2nd and 9 from the 25-yard line.
But now the fire truck has left, so I'm calmed down. So.
We can concentrate on the game now, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
Nice truck, too.
All right, Malesso, the quarterback. 2nd and 9. Drops back to pass. He's being rushed, breaks out of the pocket, and he's got some room again down the sideline for the first down. And this, his write-up, he's worth the write-up. He is an excellent athlete. Didn't have the pass, put it down himself, and gained the first down.
Nice tackle. I'm really impressed with the pass protection that he's getting from the Haverhill offensive line, and really impressed with the way he's standing in that pocket that they're giving him. Really doing a nice job.
Gain of about 11 yards on the play, and the ball is now out to the Haverhill, just inside the Haverhill 40-yard line. We'll call it the 38. 1st and 10 Haverhill. Malesso has been the show so far. And the handoff is given straight ahead for nothing, maybe a loss of a yard here on the play.
I think they did get a loss right there. Didn't quite catch who the ball carrier was. So tough to see. The lighting is bad, and we're going to go down to Sarah Patterson down in the field. She's got an interview for us. What do you got, Sarah?
Hi, I'm Sarah Patterson here with cheerleading captain Wendy Russo, who has recently been chosen as an elite cheerleader. Can you explain how you were chosen?
Well, at a cheerleading camp this summer with the rest of my squad, an elite instructor chose me to go to the finals in Chicago.
What will happen at competition in Chicago?
I'll compete against other girls in my age group from all over the U.S.
How are you preparing for competition?
Well, right now I'm working on a routine with my coach, Mrs. Farron, and my family and my friends are giving me a lot of support right now.
What kind of things are you going to be judged on at the competition?
I'll be judged on dance, tumbling, cheer, and facial expressions, things like that.
Good luck, Wendy.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
All right, we're back. Melissa tried a pass on second and about 12 to Casey, his receiver, and it was underthrown, so it's going to bring up now a 3rd and 12 for Haverhill on their own 38-yard line, 36-yard line. Chelmsford would like certainly to get the ball back here, stop Haverhill, and get the ball back quickly. Melissa, and drops straight back on a rollout, rolling to his right, and he is met there on the sideline by a couple of Chelmsford defenders, and there was no room. Evan Dunn's over there.
Tusignan and Mcdonald.
At McDonald.
Tackle.
So it's going to bring up a 4th down at about 10, 12 yards, a punting situation for Haverhill. We do have a flag on the play, though.
See what the indication is.
Right. This flag is
it's
a long way downfield.
It's going to be against Chelmsford. I see them talking to the Haverhill team.
This is, once again, an untimely penalty. Looks like a hold. One of the Chelmsford defensive backs must have been holding on the play. Maybe that's why Molesso didn't have a receiver, Dan.
He does have 5 yards from the line of scrimmage, that 5-yard bump zone.
Right. And it's going to be about 3rd and a yard now, so that certainly changes things around a little bit. Instead of a punting situation, Haverhill has some new life here. 3rd down, about 2 to go for a 1st down.
They really do. Erases that down. Let's take a look at some of the other stats. Big Leon, 3 individual tackles, 9 assists for the senior.
And the officials have blown their whistle. They're talking. Seems to be a little confusion about whether or not that should have been a 1st down rather than a 3rd down. But it looks as though they've got it squared away, and it's going to stay 3rd down and 2. And they're still talking. We've added a new official this year, Dan, but I think we've added also 5-6 minutes to each football game just in conversation. Now we've got a timeout for Haverhill, so we're going to have some more conversation.
Yeah, well, they added, as well as the other official, Division I high school football goes with 11-minute quarters. MVC is moving to Division I for next season, so they go to the 5th official, and they go to 11-minute periods.
And I'm all in favor of both of those, Dan. I think that they're excellent moves. The only problem that I have with that is that the officials need to be on the same page when the game starts and throughout the game to keep it moving effectively. And we've got to look at the new first-year Haverhill head coach talking to his team. And this is an important play for them because I'm sure that they would not want to risk giving up the ball to Chelmsford on their side of midfield with Chelmsford's quick ability to score. So they need a 1st down. They've got a big break on that holding penalty.
Definitely, they got that break, and really Chelmsford's now got to bounce back from that and really stuff the ball.
Haverhill's head coach is Ken Siaka, and he's taken over a program that was in some difficulty, but I'm sure working real hard to change that around. Here we go. 3rd down, 2 yards to go for the 1st down. Haverhill in a straight-eye backfield. Molesso calling signals. He turns, he gives to his fullback, and he's met at the line of scrimmage, but he had a short distance to go. So we'll have to wait till they unstack them here. Scott was the ball carrier. Gain of about 2 yards, so it's going to be close.
I think he's going to be right near the marker. They're going to call a 4th down in less than a yard.
Boy, this is where the head coach earns his money, Dan. What does he do now? Looks like he's sending on the punting team. And I would watch out for a fake here. Haverhill has absolutely nothing to lose. They're about midfield. Whether they punt it or not remains to be seen. They're giving every indication So back deep for Chelmsford, looks like Jeff Smart again. And in fact, they are going to punt the football. Good rush.
Almost
and
blocked.
Jeff is getting away from it. The ball's going to roll dead inside the 20 at about the 17-yard line of Chelmsford, where they will take over. The clock showing 3 minutes and 15 seconds. Score is 7-7.
The ball actually touched first by Casey, so they're going to call that dead about the 24-yard line.
That's Bill Fury sweeping wide to the right. Not much of a gain there. Maybe call it half a yard. Couldn't quite get outside. Haverhill defense that well, Dan.
They really did. Chelmsford hasn't really had a whole lot of success going to the outside. A lot of the success is using their huge interior line and going up the middle, and I think that's what they probably should do.
So Chelmsford will now be faced with, we'll call it still 2nd and 10 on their own 25-yard line. Brown is back in the pocket, looks out to the sideline. That ball stayed in the air a long time and right through the hands. The ball was there. Looks like Jeff Ravanas again on a timing play, and it was timed well, just not able to be caught.
Yeah, a little bit high, slipped through Ravanas' hands, and those are the breaks. That thing sort of happens.
Right.
Protection was there.
Yes, it was. So it's going to bring up 3rd down, 10 yards to go for a first down. Chelmsford, I'm sure, would obviously like to pick up the first down so they don't go 3 and out, keep the defense off the field for a few more minutes. And Mark Brown didn't like something and has called a timeout here. So Chelmsford's taken their first timeout in the first period. 2:33, 7-7.
Now, that's what it's there for. You get 5 timeouts. So.
Right, and this is going to be a quick one. They just wanted to check something, and they're coming right back out onto the field. So better to do that than to make a mistake, get caught in a situation that you put yourself further in a hole.
The quarterback, Mark Brown, has really matured a whole lot this season. Came in fairly young, fairly inexperienced, and he's really done a nice job so far this season.
He certainly has grown into the job and been very effective. All right, here we go, 3rd and 10. Haverhill looks like they're lined up offside almost. He's down the field, and he's throwing into triple coverage. That pass was tipped and then picked off by one of the Haverhill deep backs. Ball was caught at about the 50, brought back to the 35.
Jeff Molesso.
Boy, have we called that name yet tonight, Dan. So a pass that maybe was a little ill-advised. Here we were giving Mark a lot of credit, and it was earned. But in that case, there had to be 3 Haverhill defenders right in that one area.
Yeah, that decision, tough decision from Mark Brown. Really well defensed all over the field for Haverhill anyway.
So Haverhill has the ball on the Chelmsford 33-yard line. 1st and 10. Molesso looking downfield. Short pass. Got his receiver there. Gain about 10, 12 yards. Takes the ball down inside the 25-yard line of Chelmsford. And first down.
That's Pat Casey, the receiver. Did that and made the catch and did a good extra second effort to get the first down.
Casey and Molesso. It's been a show tonight for those two people. Haverhill on the march now, deep in Chelmsford territory on the 22-yard line. 1st and 10.
Lining up with 2 men to the near side. See what the kind of play they do.
And that play is snuffed out immediately. Just a straight ahead handoff. Looked like number 32, the ball carrier on that play was
33.
Goby was the ball carrier. And he gained at nothing. Haverhill, in fact, lost a yard. Haverhill has not been able to move the ball on the ground with their backs, with the exception of Molesso's 1 touchdown run. They have thrown the ball a little bit, though.
That's unfortunate. Molesso is getting good protection to pass the ball, but they're not really opening up a whole lot in terms of the inside running game.
And he's back to pass. When he's got the ball, he's effective. And a little bit, almost intercepted by, looks like Nick Palumbo of Chelmsford, who made a real fine defensive play and came very close to picking that off.
Wow, he came in from nowhere. It looked like the Haverhill receiver was wide open, and Palumbo really did a nice job getting in there.
Maybe the quarterbacks are having some of the same problem we're having, Dan, in seeing down there, because they've both thrown into some coverage already early in the game that maybe should not have. It's 3rd and about 11 yards to go now. Ball on the Chelmsford 24-yard line.
Well, I think if I was Chelmsford, I'd use my interior strength in the middle to run the ball.
Molesso on the keeper on the option. He's got the outside, and he turns the corner and gains about 5 yards. It's going to bring up 4th and 5. Got it down to about the 20, and was driven out of bounds there. Stopping the clock with 1:15 to go in the first period.
This far into their territory, they're going to have to go for it. It brings up 4th down, about 6.
So you can just bet, Dan, that Mr. Molesso will have the football in some kind of way on this play, probably with a run-pass option. I would expect.
Probably we've constantly seen him improve ever since he was a freshman, and he's just an incredible athlete. It's good to see we get another year out of, or they get another year out of him.
And he is straight back to pass, looking down the field into the end zone, double covered and out of the end zone. Uncatchable football. Molesso himself was drilled by Mike Tucson on that play. He was dumped real hard. That ball had no chance at all. Coming back quickly that time and running straight ahead for Chelmsford was John Kidd, his first carry of the night, gain about 3 yards. So it'll bring up 2nd down, 7 yards to go for the Chelmsford Lions. Second time they've had the football.
Yeah, and Chelmsford needs to move the ball ahead.
Right.
Use that interior.
And straight dump off pass, a real nice pass, but we got a flag on the play. It looked like, was that Mike Smith that caught that ball?
Yeah, 92 Mike Smith
right.
on the outside.
We've got a flag
over the middle.
And the way it's gone tonight, this could be the 3rd flag on the Chelmsford Lions, but it is not.
Offsides.
That's great. Offside Haverhill. I thought on the play before they had lined up in that neutral zone. Nice completion that time. Gain of about 14 yards. Completion to Mike Smith. Broke open right down the middle of the field. So we just about at the end of the first period. Looks like the officials are saying that is, even though the clock says 20 seconds, they're saying the end of the first period. And with that, the score at the end of the first period is Chelmsford 7, Haverhill 7.
You really can't say you expected that. Chelmsford, as picked in the independent, 35-0 big winners today, and that's not going to happen. You already have a 7-7 score. It's just down to me and you, Bruce.
That's true. We're going to have to battle this out. Chelmsford has looked good in the first period in spots. Also, so has Haverhill. Haverhill had one big play. Chelmsford had one big play. So relatively even first period of play.
Chelmsford really needs to step it up. They can't treat this game like a speed bump. They really have to hit it like a wall and break down the wall.
And the longer you leave an underdog in the game, the more difficult it is to take them out. So we've got the second period about to start. Chelmsford's going to have the football, and they're going to have a 1st and 10. Their ball is on the 38-yard line, their own 38-yard line, trying to distance themselves a little bit from Haverhill here.
Chelmsford and Central Catholic, the only 2 undefeated teams in the conference. And Central Catholic playing Tewksbury this week.
That should be a great game, Dan.
That really should.
Be an excellent football game.
Definitely. Anyway, Mark Brown over center. You got Sopel in motion. They give it to Holt. Holt dances around a little bit up the middle, and he gets a few yards. Bring up 2nd down and 4.
Yeah, Mike had a nice hole off the left side of the line there. A little bit of a delay. Hole opened up, and Mike hit it just about the right time.
Well, that hole on the left side of the line, typically Chelmsford's strongest side, is Bill Conan at tackle and Sean Nyan at guard. Really done an incredible job. Brown again with the I backfield. Rolling out. Fires a pass deep. Incomplete, intended receiver Jeff Smart. And well defensed, threw into double coverage right there. Molesso again down there.
At some point, I think Chelmsford just needs to decide that, Dan, that the possession of the football is what they want. Let's see if Haverhill can stop us on the ground. And I know that the forward pass helps to loosen that up, but might be time to just think, here we come, can you stop us?
I think so. Use Chelmsford's size.
And another incompleted pass for Mark Brown. He is unofficially, he is about 2 for 7 at the moment, Dan, for about 26 yards. So Chelmsford's going to be forced to punt the ball here.
Yeah, and unfortunately, that's the situation. I don't really like the, seeing them throw the ball this much this early in the game. You gotta mix it in, keep the defense honest. But
there's 3 things that can happen on a forward pass, and 2 of them are bad. So let's see what happens. Moundsey's kick coming down to about the 25-yard line.
Kick taken by number 1.
That's Molesso.
Yeah, that was Molesso.
He throws it, he returns punts, and he returns kickoffs. I'd say he's a pretty valuable guy.
Whoa, what you just saw was the end of a play, pass intended for Casey in his hands for a second, but did not have control.
He was tattooed pretty good by Nick Palumbo on that play again. Nick seems to be zeroing in on Molesso a little bit, and really the ball was well thrown. It was catchable, but Nick did a nice defensive job on that play to stop it.
Really, he did, and Molesso brings his team out. 2-man split wide to the top of the screen. In the pro set, the give is to number 33, and he gets very little. Gets about a 4-yard pickup before he's stopped. That's Pat Goby. He's a junior, 5'9", 162 pounds.
I don't think there's any way, Dan, that Haverhill is going to move the football on the ground. It's just a question of whether they can get the ball in Molesso's ability to sweep, keep it, and maybe use the option pass. But they're not going to move the Chelmsford line and be able to march the ball down the football field.
Definitely not. That hasn't been the case so far. And Molesso, same formation. A little different in the backfield. Dropping, he's looking to throw. He's in trouble, fires. Almost intercepted again by Palumbo. He had another chance.
Right, and he was chased in the backfield that time. He's starting to get some pressure now as he sets up. His drops are deeper. He's rolling back deeper. So by the time he sets up to throw the ball, he's 12 yards behind the line of scrimmage on a lot of these plays.
Yeah, it makes it very difficult to get a lot of yardage.
It does. You got to throw it 12 yards just to get it back to the line of scrimmage. So Chelmsford stopped Haverhill on this series of downs, and they're forced to punt again. Punter is Hager. Takes his time and gets off a nice kick. And Jeff's moving up, letting this one bounce.
Took a Chelmsford bounce right there, too.
Yes, it did. About the 33-yard line, I think, Dan.
That looks about right, about the 33, 34-yard line.
Tough to get the yardage markers on this field. The middle of the field is just total dirt. And thank goodness we're not playing in the rain tonight, because it would be a disaster out there.
Be a little bit fun, though, I think.
Well, it'd be fun.
Yeah.
That's right. Wouldn't be fun for us, though, trying to pick up some of those numbers. It's tough enough as it is.
A few years ago, it was windy and rainy and cold.
Yes, it was cold. Real cold night.
Luckily, the hospital's across the street for any frostbite. Brown dropping back, looking. Fires downfield. Oh, complete to Jeff Smart.
Jeff Smart's got the ball, and he's wide open.
It's a foot race, and Jeff Smart's going to score. No flags are going to bring that back, and Smart just broke that tackle right there and into the end zone.
That play covered about 67 yards for the touchdown from Mark Brown to Jeff Smart. Beautifully thrown pass. I thought the ball was either going to be intercepted or picked off. Here's the replay. Watch how close this was to being picked off. And
see, Smart bobbled it a little bit.
He did. And then once he caught it, he just outran the Haverhill secondary into the end zone.
Kyle Donahue, actually a linebacker, back deep in coverage, and that's not the sort of thing you want to do, put a linebacker on a guy like Jeff Smart.
So Jeff has both of the Chelmsford touchdowns tonight. And Eric Mounsey's kick is right down the middle.
Line drive right through Mounsey. Does a great job. And it's 14-7, 8:55 to go in the second quarter. All right, Molesso has it. Oh, wow, he's upended. Upended right there. That's Greg Jarvis, wrestler, coming in, making a nice play.
Yeah, Hawkins and Jarvis made real nice plays on that. we do have a flag down on the kickoff, so it looks like a hold, and it's on Haverhill. So Haverhill is going to start a little deeper than the 25-yard line. They're going to be moved back a little bit.
Yeah, that's not something you want. You're down by a touchdown.
No, this would be a time to really put the hammer down on Haverhill, Dan. Stop them. They're going to be deep in their own territory. They really haven't shown an ability to move the football effectively. This would be a great time to establish field position and go in for that, pick up that third touchdown.
Right. The only way they've moved the football is on the outside, and they really, still haven't done that with much effectiveness.
No, they're back inside their 15 now, about the 13-yard line.
Molesso. It's the give to, didn't catch that number right there.
That's,
big boy.
Was that Casey again?
I think that was Casey.
Yeah, and he picked up about 5. That's probably their best running play, with the exception of Molesso's touchdown. But it was a hard 5 yards. He had to earn just about every foot of that one.
He's a good-sized kid, too. Molesso again with that split backfield.
And they're sweeping.
Pitch out to Gobi again.
Right, coming up real fast for Chelmsford that time. Mike Tousineau again.
Yep, and that's 25.
Yep. It's amazing how much ground Mike can cover from the middle of the line to get to the outside and just wrap up the ball carrier. He just did a really nice play. No gain at all, and Mike had to come from a stop position to the outside to make that play.
Really, he did a nice job. A lot of times you see Tousineau just busting through the line, and Evan Dunn will do that as well.
That's right. Well, here's that third down play now where you stop them. You're going to get that good field position.
Molesso rolling to the right. Looks.
And
pass incomplete.
Incomplete. Once again, pressure coming up the middle. Molesso forced out of the pocket, forced to roll, throwing on the run. And Chelmsford's going to get the ball back probably inside the 50-yard line.
Yep, Mark Center, the intended receiver, and depending on what you get for field position, just really
interesting to see whether Chelmsford will come with a block here or try to put a return on. The Haverhill punter has not kicked the ball a long way down the field, so maybe just trying to go after him might be a good move. And they're going after him. And he's in trouble, in big trouble. Chelmsford put came with a jailbreak. About 6 guys here on the punter. He had no way he could kick the ball, and Chelmsford's going to get it down on about the 15. I'd say that's good field position.
That's outstanding field position. Anything inside the 50 would have been excellent. But
that's right.
Just absolutely incredible the way they went with the rush and using the size. The Haverhill defense protection really couldn't protect against the Chelmsford team.
They had no chance to protect at all. The punter must have done something to his line. They just didn't want to help him on that play.
Smart in motion with Brown over center in the I formation. Brown rolling to the left. Rolling, he's going to take it himself and pushed out of bounds, or forced out of bounds about the 11-yard line.
We got a flag.
Oh.
A late flag. Late flag. Official was fumbling in his pocket for that, and that's something on Chelmsford, I think.
I think that's an unsportsmanlike.
Right.
Not good for the Lions.
No, you had a chance to really put your opponent in a deep hole here, and you need to be able to be smart, play the game, and that's what it is, Dan. This is going to be a significant penalty.
Yeah, it's a 15-yard penalty.
Mark had shown good decision on that play. Didn't really have a receiver. Put the ball down and had gained about 5 yards on the play.
Really, and he did a nice job getting out of bounds, stopped the clock. Although the clock really isn't an issue right here, but still good decision by Mark Brown, and it's all called back.
Right, illegal block, and blocking is enthusiasm, so it's tough to get upset about enthusiasm.
It's going to be 1st and 15, the play erased from the 20, the Haverhill 20. And the give is to
Walsh. Was it Walsh?
I think it was Sheridan.
Yeah, Sheridan. Right. They're interchangeable parts, that's for sure. Sheridan showing good speed straight ahead. Got that 5 yards back there.
Yep, gets the 5 yards back, but now they get one less down to work with. It's second and 10.
That's right.
Yeah, really the interchangeable parts theory. Running back by committee.
Yes,
It's
it
worked
is.
well.
Right. I think 10 people carried the ball against Lowell last week. Oh, nice defensive play that time by number 66 of Haverhill.
There is a flag on the play, though.
And another flag.
So they're getting thrown out of there. Mike White is the ball carrier.
DeShano making a real nice play defensively. And they're talking to Haverhill again. I haven't kept track of the penalties, but I would say that this is probably the 4th or 5th penalty against Chelmsford tonight.
Yeah, really, they really got a nice job. I can only imagine what Fletcher's going to be saying, but it puts them back again to the 20-yard line. It's 2nd and 15.
This is go 5, lose 5. Go 5 and lose 5. They're wearing out this spot of the field.
It's an illegal motion.
Brown's got a receiver in the corner of the end zone, and he's got a touchdown, I believe, if he caught it. And he
Touchdown!
Does. Oh, a great pass that time. That looks like Jeff Smart for number 3. Oh, that was just a great pass, everybody. That ball was beautifully thrown. Jeff ran a great pattern. 20-yard touchdown pass.
Really, it's tough to see in this end zone. They have the end line of the end zone painted in, but the two sidelines are not.
Right, we were down there earlier
end.
in the evening, Dan and I, and we had a real tough time trying to find the end of the end zone.
It's a completely arbitrary call for the official down there.
That's right. But that was such a beautiful play. You couldn't really take that one away. Here's Eric Mounsey again for his 3rd extra point of the night. Jeff Smart, the holder. And he drills
no
another
good.
one.
No good. It was wide to the right.
Oh, my goodness.
Wide to the left, excuse me.
Watch this pass, ladies and gentlemen. This is such a great fake. Sets up gives Jeff a little time to get open. Mark sets up, finds his receiver. And look at this ball, just a perfect spiral.
Nice shot. Stayed in the air for a long time. Of course, that's our slow motion.
Great camera shot. Right over the shoulder, looked it in. Beautiful catch, beautiful pass. 20-7, Chelmsford. 6:09 left in the 2nd quarter.
Outstanding receiver. Wouldn't be surprised as Chelmsford go for 2 the next time they come out.
Yeah, probably so. That pass covered 20 yards. So unofficially, I've got. If I do some quick math here, which I'm never very quick at, about 113 yards now, and he's picked up his completion rate as well.
As I think they got the Haverhill defense on their toes.
Right. He's 5 for 9 and 113 yards in less than 2 periods of the game.
Kick is taken. Couldn't quite see the number, but he
is
breaks
a nice,
around the outside.
Up the sideline, cutting back to the middle.
And he's cut down.
And a nice tackle there by Eric Mounsey. So not only did Eric kick it.
Eric Mounsey doubles as a defensive back, so he knows how to make the tackle.
And thank goodness he does, because that was a real nice return, bringing the ball out to almost midfield for Haverhill.
It's Matt Perry, a sophomore for the Haverhill Hillies.
Nice to see sophomores turning in plays like that if you're the new head coach. A junior quarterback, sophomore running backs. I'm sure that Haverhill's future is something that maybe a year or so away.
Definitely. Looks like they got a great future ahead of them. Also a great future for teams like Lowell. They're young. Andover's also a fairly young team as well.
And Chelmsford went through these growing pains a couple of years ago, so it's something that each school eventually seems to have a turn going through. Haverhill's taken a timeout, and it was another quick one. They're right back ready to go. I don't think they had the right personnel on the field.
No, I don't think so. They got one receiver split wide right, one left, and 2 men in the backfield. 21, that's Pat Casey. He's the fullback, and Molesso dropping back, looking, fires a lob pass, and just incomplete over the head of Pat Casey.
I don't know if he saw his receiver or was throwing to a spot on that play, Dan, but that play was well defended. If he does have one drawback, it's the fact that he is not very tall. So if he gets some linemen in his face, it's very difficult for him to see over them. Although we know with Doug Flutie, height isn't everything.
What's Flutie, 5'9"?
Right.
Only 2 inches taller than I am. Wow.
Oh, nice hole on the outside.
That's going to be to Goby. Wow, and just powering forward. He almost broke away from number 55, Nick Hansen, the linebacker, in to make the tackle.
I didn't see the block on the outside there, but the tackle and end must have just caved in the left side of the Chelmsford defensive line, because that play was really well set up and went down the sideline. Gain of about 12 on that play.
Haverhill impressively moving the ball downfield now.
It's amazing what field position does to a football team. It allows them to open up a lot more, use some more different formations and plays.
Definitely. So they're going to throw the flag.
They got a flag
throw pass
here now.
interference. Couple of different
right
guys. Looks like they're going to call it on either Hansen or Leahy, who was down in there.
Right. It was close from our angle. It's very much impossible to tell. There were certainly some Chelmsford people in the area. So it's going to give them a first down, though, and keep their drive moving.
That's really the toughest penalty to swallow for a defensive coach, or one of the tougher penalties to swallow, anyhow. There's no reason why you really need your hands on them until the ball gets there.
We've seen 6 or 7 penalties now, and we're still 5:22 in the second quarter with a 27 Chelmsford lead, and it's just too many mistakes.
Really, and Haverhill coming back downfield. Molesso, 1st and 10. He's going to give to
ran
Goby.
right through a tackle on the outside out there.
Very rare. Evan Dunn missed the tackle.
Right.
Even down there.
And made a nice little gain. That play was almost stopped at the line of scrimmage. Evan did slow him up, so allowed some of his friends to show up and bring him down. Gain of about 2.
My mistake. I think Evan held on to his leg. Started up high, and Goby almost broke free of him.
Evan has got great strength, and I'm sure when he gets a hold of you, you don't usually run away from him.
As a sophomore, the strongest kid on the team. Now he's a senior, and he's most definitely the strongest kid in the team. Molesso, they give again a draw play to Goby, and tripped up by Evan Dunn right there. No, it's number 91.
Chris O'Brien was the tackler. And this is a very impressive Haverhill march here. They've taken a little time out, and now they've started the clock again. So they did not take a timeout. I'm sorry. Maybe an equipment adjustment. They're going to bring in the chains to check to see whether it's a first down. After a nice kickoff return, Haverhill started at about midfield, and they've driven down now somewhere around the Chelmsford 25-yard line.
You see,
and they're short, but not by much.
Short by about 8 inches.
It's going to be 3rd down, less than a yard.
Big play for Chelmsford, but of course Haverhill has 2 plays to get the first down.
Right. There's no question that they've got 2 plays. So what you're hoping for here is maybe a snap that gets juggled, maybe someone that misses a block. And the Haverhill quarterback is changing the play. Oh, we've got somebody jumped, I think, or moved. You could see a problem in the interior line. If it's against Chelmsford, it's an automatic first down. No, that's why you snap the football. A legal procedure on Haverhill. I didn't like what Molesso did there. They had 3rd down and about a foot, Dan. Come to the line of scrimmage, call your play. You had 2 plays to get it, and he came to the line of scrimmage and checked off. Confused people.
Still 3rd and 6. He's still got another chance to get that first down.
Right.
Still 2 plays.
Right. But instead of almost a given, now you're going to have to work for it a little bit.
Definitely makes it 3rd and 6 from the Chelmsford 28. Molesso over center. He's got 2 men split to the right side. I formation. Give it to me to Casey. Casey breaks free.
Wow, look at this great speed. Outstanding speed here on number 33.
That's Pat Casey.
And that young man just popped that ball straight up the middle. And that's Pat Goby that brought the ball down inside the 10. Close to the 10-yard line, I'd say.
The scoreboard says it's being spotted at the 9.
It's 1st and goal, so it's got to be inside the 10. Great call, great play.
Again, Molesso. Give again to Goby.
And Goby breaks tackles,
free.
and we've got a flag. Goby has scored, but there's a flag on the play.
It looks like they're gonna wave this off. I think I didn't see exactly what the infraction was.
This could be a huge break for Chelmsford.
Yep. And there's the
there's no celebration from Haverhill. Just an I had been led to believe that Haverhill had great difficulty offensively moving the football and scoring. Not tonight.
Yeah, they've really stepped it up tonight.
And it was a chop block that was the signal. So that's going to take the ball out of the end zone, bring the ball back 10 yards, and Haverhill's now going to be first and goal from the 20.
They're actually lining up from the 14. 14, I think, 5 yards back from the line of scrimmage. Or is it 15 yards from the end zone? Not sure. Mlesso again over center. The give's going to be to Goby, and Goby stopped on a 1st and 15. 1st and goal from the 15.
Right, they tried to come back with a very similar play to the one they scored on, and this time there was an adjustment made, so now it's going to be 2nd and about 15 yards to go.
Yeah, it's tough for Haverhill because they have to get into the end zone. No chance for a 1st down.
It's got to be also disheartening to know that you were in the end zone and have the flag thrown and have that touchdown taken away. That would have put them right back in the game.
It gives you all the more reason to get back into it.
Right. And Haverhill's taken a timeout. It's an important part of the game for them, so they've taken a timeout right here.
Yeah, definitely it's important for them to make this timeout. You know, get the play that they need, and just do a nice job right here. You know, just get this ball into the end zone.
Regardless of what happens here, Haverhill has got to take some encouragement from the fact that they have put together a nice offensive series.
They really have done a nice job. They've, you know, marched all the way back downfield and now stand in the Chelmsford 12. But it's 2nd down. Mlesso drops, fires, and it's going to be completed.
Inside the 5. So it's going to be 3rd and goal from inside the 5.
That is Pat Casey.
Pat Casey was the receiver. And a very nice, nicely thrown ball. They're on about the 3-yard line where it's 3rd and 3 for the touchdown. Can't get a 1st down. They have to get a touchdown. And another timeout is taken. And this one's at Chelmsford. And this is going to be a full timeout. They're going to take as much time as they need. I think it's a good timeout by Coach Fletcher also.
Definitely it is.
And Haverhill is faced with a 3rd and goal from the 3-yard line. They did score on this drive, but it was called back by a penalty. And they desperately need to score. They're trailing in the game 20-7. The clock is showing 2 minutes and 27 seconds to go in the 2nd period. It's probably fairly close. It was off by about 20 seconds in the 1st period. So this is a series that Haverhill needs to score. They're down by 13 points and maybe a little disheartened by the fact that they've already scored and it was called back.
Yeah, and it's an important play for both teams. Chelmsford really has to stop Haverhill to maintain momentum in this ball game.
So we're ready to go.
3 men in the backfield. Mlesso drops, looking for a receiver. Wide open. Oh, he dropped the ball.
Oh my goodness. A coach just designed to call that play perfectly. The receiver was there. Carlson, I think, was the intended receiver, and just couldn't catch the football. Now it's 4th down and 3 to go, and Haverhill has a decision to make here.
Yeah,
they're trailing 13, Dan.
Yeah, trailing by 13. You know, good decision made by the coaching staff and well-executed play. The only problem is Carlson couldn't hold on to the ball.
Right, they had Chelmsford totally fooled. Same formation.
Those 3 men stacked in the backfield.
This time he hands it straight ahead, and he's not going to get there.
No,
Chelmsford's going to take over on downs. I had a hard time with that play, Dan. I would have, with an athlete like Mlesso, I would have given him the option of run pass. I just wouldn't have tried to drive it straight through the middle.
Well, you give all the credit to Chelmsford's defense coming up big on that run especially.
On that last play, I wouldn't have given him the credit, though, on the drive. Haverhill had scored a touchdown. They had another touchdown dropped. So I think that the edge on that series goes to Haverhill.
Definitely. Haverhill did a very nice job.
Well, this is going to be interesting. Chelmsford's going to have the ball on just about the 1 yard line. 1st and 10. They've got a little field ahead of them, about 99 yards.
Yep, they're setting up from the two men in the backfield.
Straight ahead handoff and some running room.
Yep, gets a little bit of running room. That's Sheridan on the carry.
Yep, Sheridan again is coming straight ahead. Gain about, looks like 3 or 4. We're going to get the 2-minute warning here.
2-minute warning. That gives Chelmsford a little bit of breathing room.
Yes, it did. My guess here is that Chelmsford probably isn't going to get too fancy with the ball at this particular point. They're leading by 13 points. Try to end the period with the ball. If you score, that's just even greater bonus. But keep the football.
Definitely, just keep the ball on the ground. Brown dropping. He's looking to throw. Firing a lob pass. Oh, it's going to be caught.
Oh, great catch.
That's,
and the receiver.
Like White. No, that's 22. That's Ravanis.
John Ravanis coming up with another great catch. Just a really nice catch. Now Chelmsford can start to think about putting the ball in the end zone. That pass play covered approximately 40 yards, 35 yards.
Wow, just incredible.
No sooner did I just say that maybe it would be better if you kept the ball on the ground here. They complete a 35-yard pass.
But Brown rolling out. He fires. Going to be complete to Sopel. Sopel
cuts it back inside and shows some nice moves.
Nice job by Sopel getting the ball down to the Haverhill 35. And Chelmsford's in the hurry up here. They're trying to put the ball in the end zone.
Gain of another 14 yards on that play, Dan. And so much for kind of sitting on the ball. Let's get it in the end zone.
Well, they're deep in Haverhill territory now. In motion, the give is going to be to Kidd. Kidd going around the outside.
And did he get out of bounds? I don't think so.
No, he stayed in bounds.
Yeah. Nice gain out there.
They got a minute left.
Yeah, and they're in their hurry up.
So they're going to have to do, I'd say, run one more play, then go for the timeout or the spike play. Brown rolling.
Looking for a block. Get outside and
fumble.
He's taken down and fumble the football.
And Haverhill picks up the football.
Yeah, Mark was really somersaulted on that play and could not keep the football. Recovery made by number 14 from Haverhill, who is not in the program, folks. Public address announcer
that's
says
McAdams, 44.
44. I think I do need maybe a little eye check somewhere along the line here, Dan.
Yeah, I think that's in order for me too. Now Haverhill with 53 seconds to go in the half. Molesso. It's going to give the ball to Goby. Goby being tripped up by number 97. That's O'Brien.
You're right. Nice shoestring tackle by Chris on that play. And Haverhill looks like they may be not going to do anything that would give the ball back to Chelmsford.
No, I definitely don't think it's worth it for them to go after them. Chelmsford, they got deep. Really nothing to lose, but by trying to go for it. But the give is to Goby again, and he's just drilled by half the Chelmsford defensive line.
This is a place where I might consider taking a timeout, Dan. But looks like Chelmsford's going to be happy with the way things have gone in the first half and let the clock run down. And it's going to. So we're going to come to an end of the first half with the scoreboard showing Chelmsford and Jeff Smart 3 touchdowns, one on a electrifying kickoff return, couple of receptions on passes, and Chelmsford's going to take a 20-7 halftime lead over Haverhill.
Certainly big for Chelmsford coming out, going to be great form score. Another couple of touchdowns during the third quarter. and fourth quarter, the second half, and it's going to be huge for him.
All right, we're going to get down to Jim Shannon, and he's got some statistics to give us for the first half.
Hi, my name is Jim Shannon. I'm doing the statistics today. I'd just like to let you guys know a little bit what happened in the first half. First of all, we got the Chelmsford Lions playing great, leading 20-0. Sorry, that's 20-7. Haverhill's playing great. Their QB's doing unbelievable. Actually, the QB, as a matter of fact, has 93 rushing yards right now, which is outstanding for a quarterback. He also has a touchdown on a huge run that he had in the first quarter. And for our Chelmsford Lions, we have Mark Brown, who had 1 interception in 5 attempts, and many attempts to Jeff Smart, which has produced 2 touchdowns as far as passing. And Jeff Smart, who has also produced another touchdown of his own while kick returning. That is all, and I'd like to throw it back upstairs. See you later.
Okay, thanks, Jim. And it was the first half that saw Haverhill score initially on their second play of the game and lead 7-0. Chelmsford responded on the kickoff and came back, and they scored on the kickoff return, 85 yards by Jeff Smart, followed by 2 TD receptions from Mark Brown to Jeff Smart. And we've got the 20-7 lead.
Hi, I'm Christina. I'm here with some CHS fans. This is Nick.
Hi.
And Matt.
Hey.
And why are you guys here tonight?
Basically, we're just here to see the one and only Jeff Smart, who is currently rocking the house with 3 touchdowns, and
Yeah,
it's
Jeff?
only halftime.
Why are you here, Matt?
Well, I'm here to enjoy a little football, on a nice Friday night.
It is a lovely night.
It is beautiful outside.
Yes.
Don't you wish you were here? I know you do.
Yeah, they do.
Do you guys play any other sports at CHS?
Yeah, I play soccer.
You play soccer?
Yeah.
How are you guys doing this year?
We're doing all right. We just made the state tournament last night.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Yeah, I'm a runner, but I have an injury this season, so I wasn't there to help the team go 10-0 undefeated.
That's right.
But I'll be there tomorrow watching the NBC meet. 10 o'clock varsity race starts. That was
That's
a plug-in.
awesome. Good luck.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Well.
So basically, we're having fun tonight,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
There's tons of people here.
Yeah.
I wish you were here, but you're not.
Yeah.
And the band did really good.
Yeah, the
Hope you
band's
watched
doing
that.
good. They're rocking out tonight.
Yeah.
It's good.
But
It's good stuff.
we are wishing there were a few more Chelmsford fans here tonight. As you can see, we only have about 10.
10.
And we are winning, so that's a big disappointment.
That is good.
Yes.
That's good. Well,
Right up.
I was just thinking, bye.
It's time to go.
Later, guys.
Take it easy.
All right.
Ready to start the second half. Chelmsford 20, Haverhill 7. Haverhill scored first in the game to take a 7-0 lead, and then it's been the Mark Brown, Jeff Smart show from here on in with 3 touchdowns for Jeff Smart.
Yep, 3 touchdowns for Jeff Smart, one of them coming on that 85-yard kickoff return. The other 2 coming on passes, both of 30 yards or more, I believe. Both
Right,
fairly long passes.
Long pass, long runs. Some really nice offensive plays for both teams in this first half. Highlight package should be a good one next week.
Definitely, a lot of big plays for both squads.
And the captains are once again meeting for the second time at midfield, and Haverhill will probably take the football as they kicked off to start the game. So I'm sure that they'd like to go on offense and probably put some points right back up on the board to get themselves back in.
That's probably what they'll do. They ended up on offense at the end of the half only because Mark Brown fumbled the ball deep in Haverhill territory. Right now we're going to go down to Mike Umbarger down there with,
Saxophone section
looks like
who were
the marching
randomly
band.
polled, and they were said to be having the most creative costumes. Now, what are you guys actually going for?
Well, Mike, we are going for a Secret Service theme, and as you can see, we have a Bill Clinton and an Al Gore.
All right, so so when you guys came out, what exactly did you do when you ran over? For the people that didn't understand that.
Well, we had to make sure that the area was clean for bombs. We actually found one.
Was it successful?
Yeah, we managed to contain the explosion.
All right,
So
back,
it was okay.
all right, back up to you, Dan.
All right, thanks, Mike. This is actually Bruce, but Dan's right here, and he's looking in the distance. He's hoping that another fire truck might come flying back into the
Yeah,
field. So.
either that or an ambulance. We're right across the street from Hale Hospital in Haverhill.
Right,
But
it's been tough keeping Dan in the booth tonight. I'd just like, before we go any further, to compliment both bands. They put on a great halftime show tonight. Both of them dressed in Halloween costumes, and Mark Branco has done an outstanding job with the Chelmsford High School musicians, and he deserves certainly a lot of credit for the work that he's done.
oh, he certainly does, no question about it. Last year, a little bit of an off year for the band, and this year they come back and they've been incredible.
Yes, they have. So Eric Moundsey's about ready to tee it up, and we're ready to start the second half. And here's Eric's kick, and the second half is coming down to Momesso and about the 10-yard line, and he's straight back up to the right side now, up to about the 26-yard line, where Haverhill will take over 1st and 10 from the 26-yard line, trailing in the game 20-7.
Well, Molesso got 16 yards on the return, and all of that was earned. Chelmsford did a good job covering it up, and with Molesso's speed, he just gets downfield about to the 20-yard line before anyone even started getting to him.
Chelmsford has special teams have done a real nice job throughout the season. So Haverhill will take over, or will start rather, at 1st and 10, 25-yard line, going from right to left, facing the scoreboard. Oh, nice defensive play by Chelmsford on that play, driven back at the line of scrimmage.
Tusignot absolutely finished him off right there. I think McDonald, McDonald first hit.
We've called both of those names tonight, and they certainly have been merited.
You see just the way Tusignot came in there and leveled the kid.
Right. Loss of 2 on the play, so it's going to be 2nd and 12 to go from Haverhill. Momesso again, his straight handoff and a little dive play over tackle, and ball carried by, looked like Casey on the play.
Yeah, number 28, Carlson.
And Carlson picked up maybe 2 yards, get back to the line of scrimmage. It's going to bring up a 3rd and about 9.5 yards to go for 1st down for Haverhill.
Yeah,
started with 2 running plays, Dan.
Yep, 2 running plays. I think that's what they want to do. Molesso really hasn't been all that successful with the passing game today.
It's funny, the play that he scored on, they haven't come back with yet, the little step-back quarterback draw. And he's straight back to pass, looking downfield for his receiver. He stops and cuts, and we've got a flag on the play. Looked like a real nice defensive play that time. Pass was completed to Casey. It was short of the 1st down, but if it is pass interference, it's going to be 1st down.
I think that was pass interference. Number 25 in there, Dan Willett. Yep, pass interference right there. Dan Willett in there.
Dan may have been a little bit early, but if he were early in that play, it certainly wasn't by too much. So Haverhill's going to get, by benefit of the penalty, going to get a 1st down, and the ball is on their own 35-yard line. So the drive's kept alive once again by a penalty.
Not a good thing for the Lions.
Momesso spreads the field and hands off straight ahead, and once again nothing. This play just blew up right from the start. Looked like McIsaac and Dunn in there on the stop.
Yeah, ran into a wall. That's 33 Goby, the junior.
Haverhill's used some different people on offense to touch the football tonight.
Right, they really have. They've done a good job. Gotten Pat Casey into the game, number 21. Number 33 Goby has seen the bulk of the action, and also Adam Carlson lining up as the fullback.
And Momesso fumbles it, and it's on the ground. Big pile up. This would be an important fumble recovery if the white shirts have it.
No, it's Molesso. He came up with it.
Well, it still would have been an important recovery.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay. And Haverhill does pick up the fumble and cover it up. They did lose the down, so it's 3rd and 10 now, Dan, and another 3rd down play where Chelmsford stops them. They get the ball back, and they would have done their job.
Right, but still it's 3rd down and 10, and Haverhill not in the 2-down territory right now, but
Momesso took a little bit longer in the huddle this time. Probably indicates some type of a pass play. They take a little longer to call than running plays. And he is straight back, being flushed out of the pocket and being dumped. He just had no chance at all. Coming straight up the middle that time. for Chelmsford.
That was McIsaac.
McIsaac just right straight up the middle. Momesso no chance to throw it. Brings up a 4th and 16. Ball is on the Haverhill 29. And we got a replay. Watch McIsaac come right chasing Momesso back. And John's fast, but not quite that fast, folks. Okay, here we go. Haverhill in pump formation. And the last time they couldn't kick it, this time he does, and it's a line drive. Takes a fairly good Haverhill bounce coming down to about the 43-yard line of Chelmsford, where they will take over with good field position. Clock showing 7 minutes, 2 seconds, 20-7 Chelmsford. All right, Chelmsford, their initial possession of the second half. They're taking over at their own 43-yard line after the punt. No return. Brown turns and keeps the ball, rolls out wide open down the field. Great catch. This looks like Ravanas down the sideline. And Chelmsford had 2 receivers, had 2 people he could have thrown to, and just another wide open pass receivers.
Incredible. The man in motion to the far side. They flooded the near side and really did a good job. Number 92.
That was Mike Smith, not 22, 92. Mike hauling in a real nice catch, and I'm being told that maybe an eye check would be appropriate. I think maybe that's correct. But I can distinguish the white shirts from the brown shirts. So here we go. 1st and 10, Chelmsford. Ball on the 17-yard line of Haverhill. Handoff straight ahead, running right up the middle. Bounces off 1 tackle, gain about 4 or 5 yards. And
Mike White on the carry.
Mike White, the ball carrier. Because, folks, I do have to explain that one of the problems up here tonight is our monitor is to my left, and in between me and the monitor is my cohort in crime here. So he's taking up a good portion of that monitor.
No, I apologize. I know I'm not exactly petite, but
no, not petite. Solid. I
must say that was
as
pretty
solid.
cruel of a remark from you there.
Well, I'm just trying to call him as I see him, Mike. Here we go. 2nd down and about 6 to go for a 1st down. Brown rolling out, waiting for his receiver again in the end zone, and he just threw this one away. Receiver did not break open on that play, and Mark made the right decision. Just threw it out of bounds. And that was number 87, Jesse Hardick. And it was overthrown. So it's going to bring up 3rd down, about 6 to go. Ball's on the 13-yard line of Haverhill. Chelmsford certainly in 2-down territory, and would like to pick up the 1st down.
In this close, they get the 4th down. I think they go for the field goal. But they got Evan Dunnan as a 3rd blocking back.
Right. Used this successfully against Lowell last week. And Evan does throw a nice block. This looks like Fury bouncing off some hard hits by Haverhill. Haverhill defense came up strong on that play. Some real solid tackles. Bill Fury was the ball carrier. Gained about 2, so it's going to bring up 4th and 5. And do we see the field goal unit?
I don't think so.
No,
I think Chelmsford's going to go for it here.
Right. They're going for the 1st down, touchdown. And Jeff Smart just came back onto the field, so certainly we look for Jeff to be involved in this play somehow. John Kidd, the lone setback.
They're spreading the field pretty well. 1 man in the backfield.
And Mark looks for delay over the middle, coming clean. Once again, just a nice little delay. That's Mike Smith. I got it right this time. And Mike takes the ball down inside the 5 to about the 3. 1st and goal, Chelmsford. The wide receivers take their routes wide down the field, take the defensive back with them. Mike just delays a little bit and breaks open right over the middle. And he's too big for the linebackers, Dan.
It's really good that they're utilizing Mike Smith because he's an extremely strong player.
Okay, here we go. It's 1st and goal. Ball is turned, handoff straight ahead, getting down near the goal line, maybe just short of the goal line. Dan, was that John Kidd?
That was John Kidd on the carry. Just bowling forward and trying to get into the end zone, and about a yard short.
Right, so it's 2nd and goal, about the 1. This has been an impressive offensive series for Chelmsford.
Really?
They've driven the ball nicely down the field.
Good defensive series for the Lions.
Haverhill may not have enough people on the field right now. and it's a touchdown. I don't know if it would have mattered whether they had 20 players on the field on that play. It was just strength of the offensive line. Johnny Kidd for the touchdown and just driving it into the end zone.
Kidd again doing an incredible job getting those short carries, doing exactly what a fullback should do, getting good blocks and, getting those key carries when you need them to.
So we'll see if Chelmsford does elect to go for 2 points here. They did miss the last extra point try, and I don't see a kicker on the field, and they're still lined up offset here. So this should be interesting.
Now here comes Mounds.
Here comes the kicker on the field. Now we're going to have to take a timeout. So whether there was a mix-up and Eric didn't realize they were going to go for 2, or here comes a replay of John Kidd scoring. Notice the push of the offensive line. Evan Dunn getting a great block, just pushing his defender straight back into the end zone.
Good hole. He found, about a 1 yard wide hole and gets in there easily.
So that was the start that you wanted in the third period. Makes the score 26-7 at the moment. Eric Mounsey is attempting to add 1 more point to that total. Eric came into the game tonight, strangely enough, kicker, their leading scorer. Oh, it's a fake. And it's Mark Brown, the quarterback, and he is in for 2.
Wow.
They could have run that play without the kicker, Dan.
They really could have. I don't even know. Had me completely fooled. That's tough to defend against something like that.
Okay, that makes the score 28-7 in favor of the Chelmsford Lions. The clock shows 4 minutes and 27 seconds to play in the third period. So Haverhill scored initially in the game, but Chelmsford has come back with 28. Here's the replay of that fake conversion.
You should have known something was up because Mark Brown usually does not hold. It's usually Jeff Smart that holds.
That's a good call, Dan. And he had an option to pitch it, made a great fake on the pitch, and got in for the 2 points. Momesso receiving Eric Mounsey's kick, coming wide to the right, and he's brought down over there nicely.
Charlie Bagney on the stop.
Charlie Bagney. So nice to see once again Chelmsford special teams. They stopped the ball carrier inside the 20-yard line. So Haverhill will start 1st and 10 on the 19-yard line, trailing 28-7.
What I like especially about the way Chelmsford is going after players on special teams is that they're making a lot of low tackles. Makes it harder to keep your balance, and even if you don't get the tackle from the initial hit, he's off balance, slows him up.
All right, Haverhill 1st and 10. Straight back handoff, and once again nothing there. Nice tackle by Mike Tousineau, Evan Dunn. How many times have we said those names tonight? They've just played an outstanding football game.
Incredible. The heart of the Chelmsford defense right there.
Goby, the ball carrier, gain of about 2 on the play, 2nd and 8.
See in the huddle there, Evan Dunn rubbing McIsaac's, McDonald, that's the other third one, rubbing his helmet.
All right, here we go. Haverhill, Momesso once again straight handoff, breaks it outside a little bit, and bounces off a couple tackles, but Chelmsford's just swarmed to the ball that time. Many Chelmsford defenders bringing down number 33, Goby. Morangi coming out there to make that stop. And we got a replay. Notice the Chelmsford defense just swarming to the ball, player after player. So Goby is hit initially, bounces off one.
Missed a couple of tackles too right there, unfortunately. But slowed him up just enough.
And Momesso is back to pass, and he's just dropped back there. McIsaac again. McIsaac and Momesso are becoming very, very good friends. The distance of about 20 miles from Chelmsford to Haverhill, but these two young men are getting to know each other real well. And I don't think Momesso likes his new friend very much either.
No, I don't think so either. It's really encouraging to see the Chelmsford defense playing as they are, especially McIsaac. You usually don't see the interior defensive lineman making a lot of sacks, usually just to put pressure.
That's right.
And to make stops in the run. Usually it's the defensive ends coming around getting the sacks.
Chelmsford's going to try to return this punt. They let him kick it, but it's a fair catch by, looks like Jeff Smart again. And he's going to fair catch this ball inside the 50, inside the 45, about the 43-yard line of Haverhill.
excellent field position for the Lions. See if
Once
we can put
again.
another one on the board.
Chelmsford 1st and 10. Haverhill 43-yard line. Oh, a little juggle on the snap handoff, but no fumble. Ball carried out there by Bill Fury. Gain of about 3 yards on the play. Chelmsford scored in 7 plays on their last offensive series, and that was their first one of this offensive series.
Nice job right there. Mark Brown really knowing what he had to do. You know, he bobbled the ball a little bit and, you know, pulled it back.
All right, Chelmsford, second and about 6 to go for first down. Brown has got the ball on his hip. He's rolling to the right. He fires down the field. Oh, just behind, slipping down is
Greg Myers.
number 99, Greg Myers. Just a little bit behind Greg. That breaks a string for, here's a replay. Watch the footing. Getting a little damp down on the field now.
Yeah, it's getting cooler, especially Brown rolling out under quite a bit of pressure in there.
Throwing almost sidearm on that particular play.
And really did an excellent job even to get that kind of velocity on the ball.
Yes,
the
he
way
did.
he was moving.
All right, it's 3rd and about 6-7 yards to go for a first down. Brown inside little toss, and forward pass is complete, but the Haverhill defense was not fooled. Greg Myers again receiving the ball. It's going to bring up a 4th down and about 5. This might be Chelmsford's first punt of the night, Dan.
Yep, they're going to bring Mounsey in to punt the ball right here.
And I have to believe that that's a good defensive series for Haverhill.
It really is for Haverhill. They hold up the Chelmsford Lions right there short. Couldn't get that trap play to work, but those are the breaks.
That's right. So this punt will come from somewhere around the 50-yard line. Chelmsford may need to either they're going to get a delay of the game here or they're going to need to call a timeout. I don't believe they're going to get this play off. They don't have the people on the field that they need. So this is going to be close. And Chelmsford does have to spend a timeout. Unfortunately, in this game, it's not going to matter. It may at some point. Clock shows 8 minutes and 45 seconds to go. Chelmsford leading 28-7 in the 3rd period.
See, we see some kicking stats for Eric Mounsey. Kickoffs, this is his first punt of the day, but kickoffs, 52 and 55-yard kickoffs, outstanding. And 2 for 3 on point after attempts.
And I'm sorry, I said 8 minutes. That 8 is really a 0. So it's about 25 seconds to go in the 3rd period. I knew time flies when you're having a good time, but that was sort of ridiculous. Mounsey's ready to punt. Whoa, fake. Chelmsford straight ahead. Haverhill stopped them, and Haverhill's going to take over on downs. The snap went directly to John Kidd. Haverhill has taken over on downs now. They stopped Chelmsford offensively. They have the ball in their own 35-yard line. This may be the last play of the 3rd period.
That's Goby on the carry, ahead for about 8.
Their best offensive play of this half. And the clock is going to run out on this particular period.
Well, we have a second right here. We want to mention the Chelmsford High School Student Council is running a can drive, and they will be doing so at all the remaining home games, including the Thanksgiving game. So, you know, bring a canned good item or non-perishable item. Student Council headed up by faculty advisors, Mrs. Ann O'Brien and Miss Katie Sullivan.
Certainly a worthwhile cause, and I know that they'll do a real nice job with that. So I hope the people will participate in that in the remaining home games. And believe it or not, we're into our 6th football game of the season, Dan. And how many times have we been at Simonian Stadium?
2.
That's right. That's right. It's
only one more road game after this one.
Right.
We go to Drake it, my girlfriend from Drake it, and I told to Goby, I believe, underneath that big pile.
Right. And he's met by a number of Chelmsford defenders. Nick Palumbo, one of the first. And it's first down. So nice job. Haverhill got there 3rd and 5 and picked up the first down.
Definitely what Haverhill needed to do there.
So the Haverhill players are young and still playing. And that's what a coach likes to see in a his people that he's going to be working with next year. That means that they're getting his message. They're competing. That's what you want them to do.
Well, they have reason to. They've really played the Lions, fairly well, better than we've seen them, than anyone's seen them this year. I think Molesso over center. The give is going to be to Gobi, and he's taking down almost immediately. It's going to be a very short game, about a half a yard for Gobi.
And coming in there to make that play for Chelmsford, real nice defensive play, number 46, Barry Mcdonald. Barry was there just about at the same time the ball was. Barry's a valuable member. He's been injured this year. He's missed a couple of games, but he seems to be coming back strongly, and each game getting better and better.
Really, absolutely outstanding. Molesso with one man split wide to the left. The give is going to be to Gobi again. He's taken down.
Gobi's friends deserted him on that play. They certainly, I don't know where they went. They might have gone one way and he went the other, but he was certainly a pretty lonely figure standing back there.
Walsh and done the first two to get to him. Loss of 3.
So the clock's running. It's showing, I believe, 8 minutes and 31 seconds, and I think I'm right this time.
That looks
left
right.
to go in the fourth quarter.
Molesso with the pro backfield. He's going to take it himself around the outside.
Nice yardage out there. He kept the ball and gained what looks like is close to a first down. A little bit short. It's going to bring up a 4th down, and I'm sure that Haverhill's going to look for the first down.
Yeah, I think at this point in the game, I think they
nice
need
replay of this coming up. Notice Molesso coming around the outside, and Evan Dunn out there to make the stop. It's about 4th and 1. Haverhill is not going to do anything except try to get the first down here. Nothing to lose.
Really, they don't. They're down by 21 points. 7:30 to go.
Quite frankly, Dan, I'm surprised that Molesso hasn't had the football more tonight. He's just such a force, and this play didn't look like it made the first down. They'd have to get a very generous spot here.
No, he actually lost a yard in the play according to the spot, and Chumps is going to take over.
And Chelmsford has the ball. Mark Brown turns and hands off to Bill Fury, running wide to the right, and he's got some room out there.
Fury doing a nice job again. He's close to the first down marker. Very close. Looks like he may have it, depending on the spot.
And this is really the test for Haverhill now. Defensively, to stay in the game, to stay alert, to stay strong, really is a tough time for them right now. He gained about 9 on that play, so it's about 2nd and 1. Ball is on the 45-yard line of Haverhill.
Brown with the eye backfield.
Just a quick hitter in that play, Dan. And John Kidd picking up the first down.
So you need to do those short yardage situations. That's where John Kidd is doing the best job that he can.
I said that he picked up the first down, and I'll stay with that, but the officials are going to measure this, so it may be closer than I anticipated. Chelmsford wants to put some running plays into this game now, take the clock down, let it run. They've accomplished what they needed to do tonight. They've beaten the Haverhill football team, stayed undefeated to set up what should be the Merrimack Valley game of the season so far next week in Chelmsford. And I hope we see a lot of Chelmsford people out there to support these young people. They work hard. There's a first down, so my eyes were back with me that time.
You're a teacher, so you got to have eyes in the back of your head. Are those functioning properly?
That's what I should probably do, Dan. I should probably turn around and watch the game. I'd maybe be a little bit more accurate here.
Got to love those lovely 6th graders.
That's right. They're a wonderful challenge.
Brown over center with the eye backfield. One man split wide to the right. The give is to, is that Walsh, number 2?
Yeah. And he just bounced it outside a little bit. Gain of about 4. That was Holt, number 6.
My eyes are failing.
Look at that. This young man, and I don't think they realize down in the truck how far away from the game we really are, Dan. I think that's the problem. If it gets any foggier up here, we may really be far away from the game.
Yeah, we're about 10, 20 yards further than we normally are at any of the other stadiums. But the give is going to be to Holt again, and he's up the middle. And it looks like he's going to be close to a first down. And we actually have a Mike Umbarger, who I guess can, work as our spotter over here.
Yeah, he's doing a nice job to help us out. He's got the youngest eyes of all, so he's really doing well. It's interesting to me to see the pattern of running backs for Chelmsford. They start the game with Walsh, and they just keep rotating back after back. Sheridan is in, Holt is in, White is in. I'd love to ask Coach Rich what his feeling is as to which one plays at at a particular time.
Give again is going to be to Holt coming around the outside, and gets about 5 or 6.
And I do have to say that no matter which one he puts in the game, it seems like he's making the right decision time after time.
Excuse me, he gets about 8 on the play. It's 2nd down and 2.
Now this touchdown drive, hopefully a touchdown drive, the Chelmsford is on the move here, is brought the clock down under 5 minutes and counting. So they're accomplishing what they want to do.
Now Brown over center. And he rolls to the right, fires, complete to Kidd.
And a little dump off, John Kidd coming underneath the coverage, picking up the first down. So Chelmsford has not thrown the ball too many times in the second half, but when they have, it's been open. Mark Brown's had another outstanding night, Dan.
Yeah, he's really hitting his passes. You know, he's had a couple of nice passes in the first half, a couple of those passes at Jeff Smart, and Ravanis had a couple, and really nice job.
So Chelmsford's down now about the 17-yard line of Haverhill, and this has been a steady march down the field.
Man in motion is the tailback.
Given straight ahead,
Draw
running
play to
nicely.
Kidd.
John Kidd just exploding down inside the 5-yard line, just about to the 5-yard line.
I think you see what really gave that away. I think Haverhill thought that was a passing play. Once
Right.
the tailback scooted out of there, opened it up a little bit for John Kidd.
That's a pickup of about 14 yards for John Kidd on that play. And John's had a nice game tonight, too. He scored a touchdown, just came through with a very nice offensive series there. Chelmsford's deep in Haverhill territory.
He's doing exactly what a fullback needs to do.
And he
takes it again.
Has the ball again. He's close to
he'll
the
be
end
close.
zone. About a yard shot, probably.
Yeah, that's what it looks like. They're going to call it 2nd down and 1 or 2.
Dan, if I'm not mistaken, your prediction for the game tonight?
It was 35-14.
35-14. And mine was 28-7. So I think that's probably pretty close to a tie if Chelmsford scores here.
Ah, but you still got Haverhill in the next possession.
That's true.
Expecting Chelmsford to put their second string
That's
in.
true. There's always hope. And this looks like
Kidd
touchdown.
powering. He's in.
He's in. John Kidd really sort of lugged that ball down himself all the way. Johnny picking up some nice yardage. Picking up 26 of the yards on that play all by himself, and just in about 4 carries. Right, I'm checking my statistics now. Okay, so Johnny just did a nice job. How many plays was that drive? 9 plays. So Chelmsford methodically taking time off the clock, showing 3:17. And Eric Mounsey on to attempt the kick.
It's good.
And this one's good. So Eric is 4 for 5 on the night. Teams come back up the field. Chelmsford 35, Haverhill 7.
So we'll see what happens here. Chelmsford marching back downfield and really did a nice job constantly moving the ball, using the run, and throwing in that pass to John Kidd.
That was really, you're exactly right, Dan. Just throwing it maybe once or twice when they needed to, showing the strength that they have in the interior offensive line. Chelmsford's offensive line has been very consistent, and the score is 35-7 in favor of Chelmsford. And I know that Chelmsford has accomplished what they wanted to do tonight. So Dan has the point total for the Chelmsford Lions right on the number.
I had 35-14.
Well, that's for the Chelmsford Lions.
For the Chelmsford Lions,
That's right.
yes, yeah.
That's right. Dan, I'm trying to give you some compliments.
Oh, I know.
Okay.
Looks like they're going with this interesting kickoff formation.
Right,
again.
it does. And that's another interesting question for the coach as to what determines whether this is going to be used or not. It's 2 straight lines, basically. I think you can probably pick it up pretty much on the screen.
2 columns of 5 guys with mounds in the middle.
Right. And then they go to the outside. It does give more people a chance maybe to be running at the point of the kick. And Mr. Momesso one more time. And he's back.
Breaks to the outside, but
does get out of bounds. Comes up to about the 34, 33-yard line of Haverhill.
Forced out of bounds by Steve Hawkins. And Jarvis down there as well.
Now we see some white shirts, some very different white shirts down on the field.
I think you get a 28-point lead, so why not?
That's right.
3 minutes left.
That's exactly what you need to do.
At 71, that's B.J. Wellman. Austin Pasecco, number 47, as well in there.
And these are people that have had some experience playing already this year. Chelmsford's had an opportunity to use some different people, so bodes well for the future. Momesso sweeping and getting cut down. Nice job by Momesso on the outside.
Yep, he did. That's almost the same play that he went with to get that touchdown. He goes to the outside this time instead of going right up the middle.
Chris Exachos, the tackler. Was a first down, however.
It's a nice Greek name.
Yes, it is. Easy for you to say. We're going to have a little bit of a measurement here. It appears as though he did get the first down, but we'll just have to wait and see. Clock showing 2:58 to go in the game. Chelmsford leading by a score of 35-7.
And it is a first down.
He does have the first down.
Nose of the ball right on the marker. You have to be able to fit a card in between the marker and the ball for it, to be considered a first down.
And while we have a moment too, Dan, just another kudos to the crew. They work hard. They come down early, set up a lot of equipment, do a great job. Oh, this is a straight ahead.
That's number 3. Oh, he fumbles the ball.
And wow.
Chelmsford takes over. That's number 3, Chris Hager.
Hager just broke it straight up the middle, was wide open running down the field, got hit after a gain of about 25, 30 yards, fumbled the football, and Chelmsford recovers it. So that's going to be about all she wrote now with 2:35 in the game. I'm sure you're going to see some new offensive people on the field too.
Yeah, they're just going to run the clock down right here. That's all I need to do. Get in the play. Don't have a quarterback out in the field yet even.
No, I think he's still talking to the coach, begging the coach to let him maybe put the ball up in the air, but I don't think that's going to happen.
That's Bruce Rich
right.
coming in.
Please, Dad, let me throw the ball once. No, son, not tonight.
Looks like they're in a running formation now. They have one man split to the top of the screen. Chelmsford offensive line went.
Yeah.
The guard went.
Just some new players in the field, just a little bit anxious to get going and jump the count just by maybe half a step and going to lose 5 yards.
Yeah, the Chelmsford right guard went on that play. Miscounted the snap counter.
So this is going to be a good solid win for Chelmsford tonight. Once again, doing what they needed to do. 18 Mike just gave me a statistic of 18 out of their last 21 games have been wins.
Again.
And we may never get the ball snapped again here, folks, because we just keep jumping around. So
it's that right guard again.
It's maybe a little bit of a communication problem, but somehow.
Number 70, that's Jim Welsh.
Okay, we back up 5 more yards, so it's 1st and 20 now, and we're not going in the right direction here. We're also not moving the clock, and it's also getting a little cooler. 3 negatives. And this is, we've got another flag down on this play. This is quarterback, looked like Rich kept the ball himself that time, but we've got another flag.
Probably gonna be another an illegal block or a holding call, something like that.
We're still, believe it or not, at first down, and we've tried to snap the ball here 3 times. So the number 1 is good. We got a hold here. So that's half the distance to the goal line. So now they're back on their own 7-yard line. And
first, and I can't do the math.
Right. It's about, I'd say it's about 27 yards, Dan, for a first down.
Yeah, about that.
More importantly, though, can they actually run an offensive play here? And we did, but we had a fall down on the play, too. Looked like quarterback slipped. Is that Fury?
That's
yeah,
Fury.
Bill Fury. Looks like he slipped. Fury playing quarterback, Dan?
Yeah, Fury's listed on the roster as a quarterback.
Right.
I thought it was Fletcher in there. But what I saw a nice job by by one of the guards, number 66, Jeff Douglas. Really did a nice job pulling to the outside, and he would have had a nice block had Fury not slipped.
So we're under 2 minutes now, and the clock is running. It's a second down and about 6 light years for a first down. And so many new people in the game. Fury is playing quarterback, and it looked like
It may have been Sheridan on the
Yeah.
carry. Thought I saw a 23 in there.
it is. Well, it's second down and about 26, 25 yards to go for a first down. Clock showing 1:24 left in the football game.
Actually showing third down on the down marker on the field, so I
Right.
think that'd be more
Clock
reliable.
shows second and should be third down, actually.
Fury, the give is going to be to number 6, Holt.
So it's going to be fourth down for Chelmsford, and they're going to have to punt the ball one time here. Clock is under a minute. Chelmsford leading 35-7. So they need to successfully snap the ball, make the punt, and that will just about end the football game.
So we're joined up in the booth by Mike Umbarger, helping us out. Mike, what are some of your thoughts on the game today?
Well, I think Chelmsford put away the game with of course, their air attack. They're pretty much unstoppable. Haverhill couldn't do much on that, and right now it was just a few little mistakes done by some new players that don't have as much experience, and hopefully for the future that won't show the same. But this is nail and coffin. It's all set.
There we go. So it's
That Chelmsford punted on the on fourth down, and the ball was fumbled by Matt Perry of Haverhill. Matt Perry fell on his own fumble, almost gave it right back to Chelmsford, but regardless of the situation, it's still it's first and 10 for Haverhill. This game is just needs to get through 17 seconds. All right, Haverhill has a chance to run maybe 1 or 2 more plays at the most, Dan.
yeah, one play if they're quick too.
And almost had to take a timeout because they didn't have enough, didn't have one of their running backs on the field.
New quarterback Billy Mottram.
And there
Ball's
is a fumble
fumbled.
on the play. This ball's all over the field. And I think this may be the last play of the football game.
Yeah, I don't see Haverhill going for the timeout. And yeah,
we got
Haverhill
one
does.
more replay for us. Okay, we're going to.
I don't know. Haverhill called a timeout.
Don't.
It's not the end of the game.
Oh my goodness. That's a timeout that maybe would have been much better served to wait until next week.
Yeah.
You always want to play the game to the end of the game, but there is a point at which you need to understand what's going on out there.
They want to try to get me my 35-14 score.
That's it. That's what it was. I think Dan sent the message down to call one more play. You have to give Kevin Redmond some credit. He was 35-0, wasn't he? So
Yeah.
he was pretty close.
Yep. We were all close. You had 28 to
Right,
7.
0. 28 to 0.
28
I
to
think
0.
I had, yeah.
We can
Last
pretty
play of
much
the
expect
game.
Haverhill to go long. Oh, I guess I was wrong.
And now the football game is officially over. Final score, Chelmsford 35, Haverhill 7. And we're going to wrap it up with some statistics. Easy for you to say. Jim Shannon down on the field. Jim, are you there?
Jim, you there?
There he is. Jim? He's there.
Jim's there.
Are we on air?
Yes,
Yes,
we're on
Jim,
air,
you're
Jim.
on.
We're
Hi,
on.
this is Jim Shannon. I'm back with you after the game. A big victory for the Chelmsford Lions. We got some key players. We got Mark Brown, obviously the quarterback for Chelmsford High. He got passes to 6 different receivers in just the second half alone, and I believe it's nine receivers throughout the whole game, which is awesome for one quarterback to do. We also got Mike Smith, the tight end for Chelmsford, who's just been having a phenomenal year up to this point. He had 2 completions for 55 yards in the second half alone. And the Chelmsford defense has just been playing outstanding all together, sacking the Haverhill quarterback 2 times in just the second half, 4 sacks in the complete game. And we also have the running back for Haverhill, number 33, who had 8 touches and 8 carries in the second half alone, gaining almost 40 yards in the second half. I think I'm going to throw it back up to Kachufis, and I will see you later.
Yes, I was known in my Chelmsford High School days simply as Kachufis.
Well, I'm sure you were a legend at that, Dan. Whatever you were known as, I'm sure you were known as a real legend. Solid win for Chelmsford. I agree with Jim. The Lions have set up their season now, but the season really starts. Each team they play from here on in has a winning record. They don't have really any easy ones left. And it starts out with Lawrence Central next Friday night. Depending upon what they did with Tewksbury, could be 2 undefeated teams in the Merrimack Valley Conference.
Right. It's still going to, regardless of whether Central loses tonight or wins tonight, it's still going to be a big game. Because if Central loses, they have 1 loss. But if they still put Chelmsford down, it's going to be 1-1.
Right.
Newark already has 2 losses. They're pretty much out of it.
Right.
But it can still happen.
Right. Tewksbury's still right there, and Central's certainly right there. This is where you step up in your season. You find out whether or not that you are a 6-0 football team and can finish the season. So we're about ready to leave you. It's a shame to leave beautiful downtown Haverhill, but we need to start back up towards Chelmsford. And this is Bruce Byam.
I'm Dan Kachufis. I hope my car makes it back home.
I'll follow you, Dan. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, and good night.